Should you read on the Kindle or stick to the good old-fashioned physical book? In this video, I'll be putting them head to head to find out which is the best option for you. Okay, let's break this down into 3 categories: cost, convenience, and consumption. First up, cost. Amazon offers 3 different Kindle models. The basic Kindle at $69.99, the Kindle Paperwhite, which is the one I have, at $119.99, and the Kindle Oasis at $229.99. So, on the face of it, the Kindle seems like it's going to be the more expensive option, given that you have to buy the device itself to read on. But Kindle books are actually way cheaper than the physical books for the most part. So it won't actually take you long to make your money back, or even benefit in the long run, depending on how long you use it for and how many books you actually end up buying. But beware, you're likely to end up spending the same amount or more because it's so damn easy to buy books. Amazon even do this Kindle daily deals where they have 3 to 5 books on offer every single day for just 99p. And this is where I buy the majority of my books, because 99p. Side note, for a lot of books, once you have the Kindle version of it, Amazon actually give you discount on the Audible version as well, which can work out cheaper than what you'd pay with credits in some cases. So this is probably even overall. In fact, the Kindle probably wins in the long run, but that depends on whether you stick with it and aren't buying it to just realize that you don't like it and it's too late to return it and you're too lazy to sell it. Trust me? Okay, next up, convenience. And this is where the Kindle really comes into its own. Number 1, it's instant. You don't have to wait for your book to arrive. You hit the buy now button and it magically appears on your device. I have to say, I've never needed a book urgently, but it is nice to know that it's a super simple, straightforward process. Number 2, you can store like a bazillion books on this thing. Okay, maybe not quite that many, but it's in the thousands, so you don't ever have to worry about running out of space. It's great for going away. Not that there's much of that going on right now, but you can just throw this in your bag and be away. And if you don't like the books that are on there, you can really easily buy some more. And again, you don't have to wait for them to turn up. It's simple. 3, you can adjust the font and the size of the text to your liking. So you can make it super easy for yourself to hit that read 10 pages a day goal that you set for yourself. 4, you can create folders and collections. Now this is great for organization nerds like me, because it means that instead of searching through all the books that you have on your Kindle, you can go to a relevant folder or collection and just search through them to find something to read. 5, it's a whole lot easier to carry around with you and just pick up where you left off. In fact, you don't even need your Kindle with you. With the Kindle app, you can use it on a phone, iPad, or Mac. I have read many a book through the Kindle app on my phone. Okay, fine, it's not quite how it was intended to be used, but I pretty much always have my phone on me, so it's super easy to pick up, get a little reading in those little pockets of time that we have throughout the day. 6, it's so much easier to read and turn pages one-handed, so when you're eating cookies, you don't have to worry about getting crumbs all up in your book. The Kindle also feels great in the hand, though I do prefer the physical buttons on the older devices. 7, there's a built-in light, which is why I actually upgraded from the older model to the newer one in the first place. It is really useful for that pre-bed reading that you want to do. So that's plus 7 points for the Kindle. But there are some things that I actually prefer about physical books over the Kindle. 1, I'm a whole lot more likely to pick up a book off my bookshelf and start randomly reading than I am to pick up the Kindle and randomly start reading, because I can actually see all the books and they act like a to-do list for me. It's that whole out of sight, out of mind thing. The Kindle has been next to my bed since I bought it pretty much, and I'm still way more likely to reach out for my physical book. 2, flipping through books is just a nice experience, and in fact one of my most favourite things about physical books. It's great to be able to see what's coming up, flip back a few pages to find out what's gone before, and to just fan yourself. 3, I love getting a new book in the post. It's like sending a present to myself. There are also some people who love the smell of books. I don't personally get this, but if that's your thing, then you should probably keep buying books. Okay, we're down to just plus 4 for the Kindle, but it is still comfortably winning. By the way, what's your preference, Kindle or physical books? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to know. Okay, consumption. Arguably the most important category, so I split this into 2 further categories, non-fiction and fiction. Let's start with non-fiction. With non-fiction, I am reading to learn and therefore wanting to take notes. Now, people love the highlighting function on the Kindle because it makes it so easy to highlight sentences and paragraphs, but highlighting alone is pretty useless. It needs some notes or context adding to it, which the Kindle also allows you to do. You can then export your notes or sync them to places like Goodreads and Readwise to process them further. But I hate this process on the Kindle. It slows down my reading and is super annoying when I can't select just the bit I want or select the wrong bit. This is a much nicer experience on the iPad or the Mac than on the Kindle itself. Side note, the Kindle screen has actually been designed to look much more like a physical book, so it won't put that strain on your eyes that the iPad or the MacBook will, and is absolutely fine for pre-bed reading because it's not emitting that blue light that we need to avoid. For taking quick notes as I'm reading, I found that nothing beats good old-fashioned pen and writing on the book. Now this does require you to overcome that idea that you are vandalizing your precious book, but once you are over that, you will be all good. The downside, however, to pen and paper is that you then have to go and write up your notes afterwards if you really want to do anything with them. I personally go back through my book after and write it up in Notion, but I can see how that can be a bit of a pain in the ass for a lot of people. For fiction books though, I never take any notes, which is why the Kindle is absolutely great here. I don't even like buying physical books when it comes to fiction because it seems so wasteful. I'm never going to read that book again. So I have a bunch of fiction books on my Kindle, mostly being bought for 99p, and it's super easy to just pick up a book, not worry about note taking, and get on with reading it. So if my maths is correct, we should finish with +5 points to the Kindle. And yet I still prefer physical books. Remember, things aren't always black and white. You don't have to choose one, be stuck with it, and end up in some kind of exclusive relationship with it. I enjoy reading fiction on my Kindle and non-fiction in physical book format. And if I could only choose one, I would opt for Audible. But that's a video for a different day. For now, I would go with a physical book. But I would still highly recommend that you go and buy a Kindle for yourself if you can. It's a great piece of tech that even if you use it a few times a year, is still worth the money, especially at $54.99 for the basic model. And it's probably even cheaper on Amazon Prime Day or something. Or you could consider buying the Kindle version of non-fiction books and using the Kindle app on the computer or your iPad. But whether you're a Kindle or a physical book fan and you're looking for your next read, then head on over to my book summaries playlist over here to get some ideas. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.